So it's March 20th, and Donald Trump just posted what is essentially a surrender post on Truth Social. We're getting very close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our great military efforts in the Middle East and with respect to the terrorist regime of Iran. Number one, completely degrading Iranian missile capabilities, launchers, and everything else pertaining to them. Number two, destroying Iran's defense industrial base. Number three, eliminating their Navy and Air Force, including anti-aircraft weaponry. Number four, never allowing Iran to get even close to nuclear capability and always being in the position where the USA can quickly and powerfully react to such a situation should it take place. Number five, protecting at the highest level our Middle Eastern allies, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, and others. The Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it. The United States does not! Exclamation point. If asked, we will help these countries in their Hormuz efforts, but it shouldn't be necessary once Iran's threat is eradicated. Importantly, it will be an easy military operation for them. Thank you for your attention in this matter, President Donald Trump. Talk about walking into a room, farting, and running out. This is what this administration did. Underneath all these lies, this is nothing but lies. What this administration is saying, we are in over our heads, shit is getting bad, and we are bailing. And all these other countries over there, as we speak, continue to get bombed. And Iran will continue to attack them because nothing of what he said happened. They still have a military in Iran, no matter what he says. They still have a lot of bombs and a lot of ammunition. There were no talks. There were no negotiations. This is just a post saying the United States is fucked. The Republicans are fucked at midterms. The economy is fucked. And we are bailing. And we've left these other countries over there not capable of defending themselves from what we started. And I don't believe he wrote this because he doesn't know how to remove the all caps button on his phone.
Has President Trump just given the biggest indication yet that he's done with this war in Iran? There have been a flurry of developments.
Oh, I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free.
That was the president just before he left the White House for Mar-a-Lago in Florida. He appeared to be indicating that Israel and America were close to concluding their war in Iran.
We want victory, both of us, and that's what we've got.
As ever, the messaging was somewhat mixed.
You know, you don't do a ceasefire when you're literally obliterating the other side.
But then, from the air aboard Air Force One, the clearest indication yet that he's keen to wind down a conflict, the consequences of which have already been profound for the global economy. On Truth Social, he wrote, "We're getting very close to meeting our objectives as we consider winding down our great military efforts in the Middle East with respect to the terrorist regime in Iran." Then he lists the accomplishments as he sees them. Number one, completely degrading Iranian missile capability, launchers, and everything else pertaining to them. Number two, destroying Iran's defense industrial base. Number three, eliminating their Navy and Air Force, including anti-aircraft weaponry. Number four, never allowing Iran to get even close to nuclear capability and always being in a position where the USA can quickly and powerfully react to such a situation should it take place. And number five, protecting at the highest level our Middle Eastern allies, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait, and others. Now, the kicker in a moment, but quickly on those points. The first three, destroying Iran's military, that may well be accurate given how intense the American and Israeli bombing has been over the past 3 weeks. But point four, Iran now not even close to nuclear capability, well, it's almost certainly true that it's been knocked back years, but The nuclear material, near weapons grade, that is still somewhere inside Iran. And of course, the regime remains in place, more defiant, more aggrieved, more intent on revenge. The concerns about Iranian sleeper cells globally, about terrorism, must now be taken really very seriously. Now, the last part of the statement is particularly interesting. It's the kicker. The Hormuz Strait, he says, will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it. United States, he said, does not. If asked, we will help these countries in their Hormuz efforts, but it shouldn't be necessary once Iran's threat is eradicated. Look, put simply, he's saying, sorry folks, not America's problem. We broke the global energy market. You need to fix it. And he adds that it will be easy. No one else, by the way, is claiming that. So what next? Well, let's see what the Iranian government says in response to this shift by Trump. And remember too, that this is a president who himself shifts, changes, contradicts his own statements all the time.
I am willing to leave or surrender this war or give up the fight, even if the Strait of Hormuz is not yet opened. That is the speech that Donald Trump is giving right now. Why? Because you don't fight a losing battle. Now he understands he understands the grill. You don't fight a losing battle. If, like something is, it's heavier than you, or it's getting out of control, just let it go. You see, like, for example, you don't keep on fighting, the battle you cannot win. Battles you cannot win, surrender. It's just supposed to be that way, okay? Because you're going to continue fighting and fighting and fighting, and at the end of the day, you lose after you've lost a lot of resources, a lot of money. You'll be running your country into difficulties, into problems, and everything is not going to work out still, however, how much you try to do it and all that. So accept it and move. Don't fight a losing battle. Just don't. Iran is very, very ready. You need to know that times and events are unfolding and time is changing. So what you used to do a long time ago, or the kind of power you used to have a long time ago, is not the same power you'll have today. Because people, most especially, if, they say once beaten, twice shy. And if somebody has been on your, like, for example, you have beaten somebody before, or somebody has found himself in a trouble with you before and it went bad on them, they're definitely going to get out of that place with a certain lesson. So they're going to prepare themselves and work themselves out, in that if something of the same tries to happen once again or another time, they will know how to maneuver. They will know how to come about it. They will know how to go about it. They will know how to survive out of it. And so even today, if America wants to fight Afghanistan or Iraq, the same thing will happen. You are likely going to be defeated, or you are likely going to go equal. In that, people are not doing that because they are preparing for violence. People are doing that because they are preparing for, like, they want to respect. They want to be respect. They want everybody to respect each other. Because if we live weak every other time, there are other people that are going to disrespect other people, and it's not going to look good. It's not going to be looking good. It's not going to be looking good at all. So Iran didn't want any war with America. That is why they never fought America first. America struck them first. But Iran, they were preparing themselves, not because they were able to strike America. They were able to do that. But to them, they did not want violence. Today, to them, they were preparing themselves so that other people will know that we need to respect each other. Today, Trump is willing to let the war go after he has, first of all, disguised himself. He has shamed himself, because you are like coming out and telling the world, I've beaten these people. These people, have finished them. They don't have navy. They don't have army. They don't have weapons. Right now, nothing do they have. I've already finished everything. And then another time you come and tell people, I'm willing to surrender or give up this war, even if the Strait of Hormuz is not open because we don't need it. Now, I want to tell you, and I want to come here and talk about the repercussions or consequences of DJT starting this war. Because right now, if he's willing to surrender, even when the Strait of Hormuz is not opened, then that is going to be a blow to the United States of America and to many countries in the world. Okay? Now, take a look at these videos and then I'll come back and say more in regards to the same.
Well, tonight, Donald Trump officially surrendered in his war for control of the Strait of Hormuz. Last night, we reported to you that Donald Trump said yesterday that the Strait of Hormuz would open as soon as he ended his war. In other words, Iran would open the Strait of Hormuz as soon as Donald Trump gives up. And tonight, after saying, quote, "We are going to finish the job," end quote, Donald Trump said it is up to what he called the countries of the world to open the Strait of Hormuz now that he has completely failed to do it after threatening military power that he would use to open the strait. Here's what Donald Trump actually said. The countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. Those are surrender words from Donald Trump on the Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump insulted the intelligence of every one of his voters and supporters tonight, and he insulted the commitment of every member of the American military involved in Donald Trump's war by calling his war, quote, "that little journey to Iran." No president of the United States in our history has ever demeaned military service in war by calling a war a little journey. And Donald Trump blatantly lied about the reasons he launched his war. Donald Trump said that Iran was on the verge of obtaining a nuclear weapon and using it against the United States. He said, quote, "they were right at the doorstep." That is a Trump pathological lie.
Iran. Mr. Trump is secretly reaching out to the Iranians and offering them a negotiated settlement of some kind just to get out of this thing. Trump, not the Iranians. He's doing it through back channels, possibly through Steve Witkoff. Now, obviously, he doesn't want Americans to find out that he's having somebody call the Iranians to try to get out of this thing, because he's got to be, chest thumping Mr. Bravado, right? But that may be too late, because the word is out. Trump has reached out to Foreign Minister Arachi and others, and they have told him, no thanks. No, sorry. We don't want to talk to you. We don't want to negotiate. We don't want to do a ceasefire. We don't trust you. And because we think, the Iranians are saying, this is what they think, we're winning this war. We've got the leg up right now. So listen to this reporting by none other than Jeremy Scahill. He's one of the best reporters in the United States, a real reporter, a credible reporter, with a fantastic reputation and contacts to match. Watch.
I was told by a senior Iranian official that Steve Witkoff had sent WhatsApp messages to Iranian officials, including Abbas Arachi, the country's foreign minister. And I said, I want to go to Witkoff and ask him that. That's what I told the Iranians. And they said, well, this is still off the record because
Donald Trump has officially surrendered to Iran as they stood their ground and made him go full taco. Now, as you know, over the last couple weeks, Donald Trump has been warning Iran, make a deal or you'll suffer immeasurable consequences. And each time that warning came with a deadline. Well, that deadline would pass and Donald Trump would back down because Iran wasn't making a deal. Well, now Donald Trump has decided they don't have to make a deal after all. Take a listen.
Does Iran have to make a deal for the U.S. to end its operation in Iran? And have you spoken?
Nope, they don't have to make a deal after all that tough guy talk. After all that talk about how close they were to making a deal because they were begging to make one, now Donald Trump says they don't have to make a deal at all. He is ready to just leave Iran, and he's going to leave Iran more powerful than they've ever been, with more geopolitical influence. They now have full control of the strait, and I don't suppose that they're going to be giving that back anytime soon. This is a complete embarrassment for the United States, brought to us by Donald Trump.
Good news, America. The war with Iran is officially over and the stock market is surging and oil is dropping. All thanks to Donald Trump's True Social post saying that he's been holding secret talks with the Iranian government since Saturday and he's ordered Pete Hegseth to shut down all strikes on Iran's energy sector. This comes just after he had an ultimatum to Iran, basically saying that if they did not completely open the Straits of Hormuz and just allow the United States and Israel to continue to smack them in the face, then he would take out all of their civilian infrastructure, which is, of course, an international war crime. But I digress. However, thanks to Donald Trump's amazing skills at deal making, he has been able to come to a very good conversation with the Iranians, and now we can all rest assured that this war is finally over. Thank God. The only problem is, according to Iran, they haven't heard anything from the Trump administration. They are in no official talks with the Trump administration or secret talks with the Trump administration. And as far as they are concerned, the war is still on. Make sure you follow for more updates on what's going on with the apocalypse that's happening right before our eyes.
Stop listening to Trump. If you want to know when the Iran war is going to end, there is only one person you need to listen to, not Trump. Stop listening to Trump. The only person you need to pay attention to is Larry Fink. He runs BlackRock, the biggest wealth management firm in the world. He controls most of the world's money. Listen to what he said about the Iran war last week. You're about to find out when the war will end.
If there's a cessation of war, and yet Iran remains a threat to trade, a threat to the Straits of Hormuz, then I would argue that we could have years of above $100, closer to $150 oil.
What happens to the global economy if that happens? How do we see it?
We'll have global recession.
You just heard the man that controls the most amount of money in the world say the Iran war cannot end with Iran controlling the Strait of Hormuz. The United States needs to take control of the Strait of Hormuz or there will be a global recession. You just heard him say that. You think Trump's getting on camera saying, yeah, I just got a deal. Get ready, guys. We're talking right now. The deal's on the way. Get ready. So when I keep saying on this page, this Iran war is being fought to tokenize everything and create a new global financial system, guess where I got it from?
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets.
And when I tell you that Iran represents a leakage in this new global financial tokenized system, guess where I got it from?
$4.1 trillion of money in city globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize...
You're listening to these bullshit headlines, then ruining relationships with your family and friends. Don't do that. Listen to me, then go ruin the relationships with your family and friends.
All right, welcome back again to the African Streamlet. Now, remember one thing. Almost 90% of the oil that is being circulated all over the world is passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, if today Strait of Hormuz is closed because there are countries, there are nations that have been allowed to go through the Strait of Hormuz, and it's because of the good relationship between Iran and these countries. And I'm going to tell you, this way of thinking that you always need to use violence for you to be able to get something, or for you to be able to grab something or take something from somebody, needs to come to an end. America does not know a peaceful way of going about issues. They do not know a peaceful way of approaching people. They don't go a dialogue way. They've always known chaos, violence, and war. That is what they know. The only language they know is war, chaos, and violence. But they've forgotten to realize that yes, violence can work sometimes when maybe things aren't working out and you feel like you want to, sometimes you can use strength and all that. But this one does not apply everywhere. You need to know that not everybody is a kid and not everybody can be commanded. You see, in a family of boys or even in a family of girls, for example, let's take for example, you are living in a family of 5 boys, or let me say 3 boys, or 2 boys even. And then the elder brother is older than you with maybe about 5 years or so. And so when he is at 28, you are at 23, And so every time he keeps on Okay, for example, when you are at 20, let me say when he is at 25, you are at 18, you know, or at 20. And so every time he wants to talk to you, he gives you commands. He doesn't approach you, you know, like someone who is mature. He keeps on giving you commands, you know. He gives you commands every single day. So he keeps on giving you commands. Even at 28 and you are at 25, he keeps on still giving you commands. He has forgotten. Yes, he is older, but you're also mature. Because when you start getting mature, there is a way you're supposed to be approached. There is a way you're supposed to be talked to. You don't get to be approached like a child or like somebody who is still young or immature or something like that. What Trump has failed to understand is that a long time ago, they were powerful as they thought they were, and every other people had to bow down on them. But right now, everybody is growing up and is growing up maturely. And so they have to now adjust with the time, adjust with the system, find other better ways and best ways of approaching people. Because everybody right now, it gets to a point when everybody now, they have their own power. Why? Because they're mature. You can't talk to them anyhow. There is a way you must approach them as people who are grown-ups and all that. Okay? So Iran isn't that country that America used to fight a long time ago. It's a different country. That's what I've told you. Even if America wants to fight Afghanistan today or Iraq today, it won't be business as usual. It will be something else different. And that is one thing that Trump needs to very, very much understand. Okay? And so, right now, when he is saying that he's willing to surrender, it is because when he started this war, he thought he's going to finish and win this war very fast. When somebody gets to a point when he says he wants to surrender, that means things are not getting easy on his side. Things are getting very, very tough on his side. Now, there's going to be a lot of consequences that America is going to have. And most especially the Europe countries, it's going to be a problem because now they are not going to be getting oil that is coming through the Strait of Hormuz. Remember, a lot of oil from the Middle East is passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Therefore, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, it's going to be something else that many people didn't actually expect. They are not going to find it easy, they're not going to get this oil very easily, they're actually going to suffer. Now, there are people who will suffer, the people of America, the business people that are in America, they will suffer because of making decisions out of ignorance, you know. And the consumers, the oil consumers or the fuel consumers in America, they're going to suffer because of Trump making decisions out of ignorance. Because if he surrenders, that means the Strait of Hormuz will not be opened. Or Iran will come with, conditions. You want us to open now the Strait of Hormuz? Now you have to do this before you open the Strait of Hormuz. I think it's high time even America and Europe countries should be colonized at least by these countries that are not these African countries and the Middle East countries. Because if Iran gets to a point when it starts ordering America, it will look like they're now colonizing America or something like that. Somebody said American empire is gonna fall. This is the time that you're going to witness the fall of American empire. That I'm telling you I'm telling you that this is a moment we are going to actually experience the fall of the American empire. Because if America will get to a point where people are giving conditions for them to be able to help them or to get whatever they want, that will have marked the fall of America. Because right now, America can no longer fight Iran. It can no longer fight Iran. That war is difficult. That is why instead of when Trump is giving orders, generals are saying no. That's why they're getting fired. You saw yesterday generals getting fired. They're fired because they're saying no, we cannot fight this war. Or we give you a gun and you go ahead and fight the war how you think it's possible. We can't fight this war. It is a war that we cannot fight. We have been to ground many times. We are the trained officers. We know what we are saying. So as much as he himself is pushing, the military are saying no because they know they can't win that war unless they want to die. They will go there walking and breathing. They will come back in body bags. That is what they are saying. And so Trump is willing to surrender because he has failed. He does not just want to accept the fact that he has failed, But the truth of the matter is that he has failed and he does not want to surrender anything. He does not want really to surrender. So the Strait of Hormuz has been closed. I don't know what Iran will take, but maybe, Trump is saying that they don't need the Strait of Hormuz. They actually don't need it. That is what he's saying. We don't need it. So we are leaving it. Other countries should go and pursue for them to open the Strait of Hormuz if they want, but we don't need it either. So let them do whatever they want to do. I don't care about it and all that. The truth of the matter is that they need it. But right now, he is a frustrated human being who does not know what he can do about what is actually happening. So, do you think he will surrender? Do you think it's the best way for him to go about it? And if he surrenders, what else is going to happen? Does it mean that Iran will have won, or America will have just decided to leave? Tell me what you think. I'll do my best to make sure I read all the comments and give a response where possible. But until then, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for always being here. Until next episode, peace out.